I'm supposed to point it at someplace.
Should just,
Oh, there we go. So yeah, there was supposed to be animation on this, but there isn't. So sorry about that. But basically, the premise behind this is it's very hard at the moment to get noticed. And the idea behind what we're working on is to get you noticed. And so we can sort of help you with that. So this was sort of a template of slides we're asked to put together. So why us? My name's Slush'd. I am the founder of Black Dog Applications, and we're a startup. I guess, well, it's more of a development agency, and we're basically just interested in making cool things. And I've drafted in a 3D artist and a graphic designer, and we're working on what you'll see in a moment with our demo. So why now? Well, it's more important than ever to be seen. The idea is that we help you to get in front of contacts and customers and get your product noticed. So that's the end of my slides. Just bear with me for 1 second. So, you win the prize of being in the frame. So you probably will hear me without the microphone. Is that okay? The idea behind this is it's to be run at a trade show. So let me just grab it from it likes you, since you're more of a human than I am. The idea is that it puts a cab in everybody's hand. If you could put your right hand down. So it's also quite dark in here, which it you might not like so much.
yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure what to do. So you're now the prize. So it just doesn't like me. So the idea is that someone walking along at a trade show, a trade fair. So this is the stack you see here is for a company that makes guitar speakers. Cabinets for guitar speakers. And the idea is that they have it on a trade stand, and everybody that walks past, it puts a cab in their hand, and it makes people stop. The sunglasses make people laugh. And this was just a basic proof of concept. So the idea is that people notice. It's very easy at a trade show when there's loads of guitars and all sorts of stuff going on, loads of noise. The idea is that it makes people stop and stare and then come onto the stand. And so it uses AI to detect your hand and your face, and basically we can train it. It's a quite modular system, so we can train it to pop in anything we want. So it could, for instance, identify logo. So if someone were wearing this company's called Zilla, if they were wearing a Zilla t-shirt, it could, for instance, put a hat on them or a star around them, like "you're cool, dude." Just like kind of stupid stuff. Like, yes, it's a gimmick, but the idea is it makes people laugh. It makes people stop, and it makes people think, even if they aren't interested in cabinets, they're still like, "Oh, what's this?" And so it's one of those things that it's not immediately useful, but it is very helpful to get attention. It likes right hands. It also has preferences. I've found this before. So certain people, it's decided, are more people-y than others. If you put your right hand in, it might. So this is obviously just one version of what we can do, but this is currently running on a browser. So it's the sort of thing, the same tech can be used on a phone, so it can be activated with a QR code. So if you want to put it on your promotional literature and things like that. So it's just a silly demo. And that's it, really.
Cool. Could I get a round of applause? So we are running Menti, but maybe you didn't get the memo because some questions come through. But do try and get some questions in there and join if you can. I know the Wi-Fi is a little bit temperamental.
And suggestions as well, because I'm happy to hear suggestions. Like if you've got that'd be great to see this.
Definitely.
Love to hear that.
We're going to go back old school. Have we got any questions from the room?
I'm feeling very shy.
No.
Yeah,
I would love it. Use it like an amusement park or something like that.
Yeah.
They would be all over that.
I think you can have applications in absolutely just tons of different places, like putting a can of Red Bull in everybody's hand or a can of water, or absolutely. It's anything where you want people to interact, but it's not serious. You can clearly see that we are not trying to be like, there is actually a cab in your hand. You're actually wearing sunglasses. The idea is it's a bit tongue in cheek. It's fun. It lifts the mood. Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a quick question. how far are you in with your development of this? Are you still kind of sense checking if it's a viable idea? Or have you got as far as kind of thinking about commercials or anything like that?
Yeah, so this is absolutely the first time we've like wheeled it out, and it was just a demo. You might not have seen, well, you definitely haven't seen anything to do because I didn't bring a banner or anything like that. It's literally like, if we wheel this out, if we dump it in a crowd of people who have no interest in guitar cabinets, I mean, sorry, maybe some of you do like guitar, but it's not really this isn't, I don't know how many of you have a croc skin cabinet in your living room, but the idea is how many people would stop and what attention would it grab? And would it work in a crowd of people? Because I don't have a crowd of people like kicking around the office that we can test it on. It's quite useful to work on like YouTube, you can like stick the camera on. But so the idea here was just, let's put it out in the wild and see how it responds, see what it likes, see how, yeah, sorry.
Well, I'm just intrigued. You guys try again? High five.
It's the joy of AI that it's nobody quite knows what it knows. And also how people respond to it. So in terms of the development, this is quite a good proof of concept. So we know that the tech works. We know that it actually does need a little bit of internet, which is, I had forgotten. That was annoying. So one of the things is we needed to work in a trade stand. So we needed to work when there is no internet. So that's one of the other things to strip out and make sure everything is running locally. But yeah, and with the AR stuff that we're sort of doing, especially on the phone, we know it works. It doesn't look pretty yet. So it's well on its way. It's past the MVP, but it's like, it's not commercial, it's not ready to go out yet.
Another question?
So does it have the possibility to take photos of yourself? Because I feel like
Yeah, absolutely.
have a selfie and
Yeah.
share it on social.
Yeah, the idea would be you'd have a button. We were also talking, I had the idea earlier about having like just a button. If you press it in a trade stand, lights go off, something silly happens on the screen like multi-cab or something like multi-ball, something ridiculous. The idea is that then it's even more immersive. So people come and like, it makes noise. I mean, probably the people around you in the trade stands would get very annoyed, but yeah, you definitely be able to take a screenshot and email it to yourself or share it on socials, things like that. Yeah, it's great.
Let's follow on from that.
Yeah.
Bit of a crazy idea, but obviously if it's just that screenshot, obviously you can have a screenshot when you stuff with some kind of rudimentary glasses on.
Yeah.
These days, if you share that, they're like, okay, to a certain extent. However, if there was in the right context, but a photo of you with the screen and that kind of from the outside.
Yeah, totally. We can have it in sort of like another camera in the corner.
Quite intriguing. People see it from that point of view.
Yeah, especially if it's in sort of a cabinet that's got green croc screen on it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. Well, big round of applause, I think. Thank you. Right.
Wheel this out of the
If you
way.
can just move that away a little bit.
Do try and get onto Menti because it does make it better and more engaging for everyone. But our next demo is Kate from Wylder.
So I don't quite know where to put. Which is
That
out of our
is
push it
right
back.
in the way.
Let's keep going.
And if we push it back, or is that?
That'll be probably, that's fine.
Cool. So this,
Could you be this way a bit?
Yeah.
So we've got you in shot as well. That'd be
Cool.
awesome. Thank you.
The 5-minute thing, I might need a little.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
fine.
give you a prod.
All right, cool. Hi everyone. Sorry, some of you are hearing this again for the second time today. Try and vary it a little bit. So, hi, I'm Kate, founder of Wylder, the app which prompts people to get outside to improve their mental well-being. So, I better just rewind on that. Yeah, tonight I would love your honest and unfiltered feedback on what you think works and where we could improve. So, at Wylder we have two different customers. So we have people like Lucy, the app user, who want to get outside more, but time, weather, and motivation stop them. People like me. And then we've got organisations who are paying customers. So people like the National Trust, who also want to get people outside more. Their barrier is there's no current solution they can use on scale, which is accessible. So we solve this for our customers by offering the Wylder App, which essentially just prompts people to put their phone down, get outside and engage with nature by giving them a focus to do so. So why Wylder? In a nutshell, essentially 6 years ago, I had a mountain bike accident and that made me stop for many years. But actually that was also a gift because it made me connect to nature. So when I stopped and slowed down, I can hear myself back. That is, can you guys all hear me back? You can just hear me once. I can hear like double spin in my mind. Well, that's what Nate, pardon? Yeah, maybe I'll try. Is that still good from there? That's better for me. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. Cool. So basically, noticing nature stopped my spinning mind and brought me back into that present moment, like it does for all of us, right? In COVID, it happened to us, but we're too busy to do it. So that basically inspired me to create Wylder to help to prompt people to do that and stop. And these awesome people have joined me and added their expertise to the team. So why now? So it's now proven beyond doubt that connecting to nature improves mental health. And yeah, the time really is now. These articles just came out literally last week. And yeah, there just needs to be a solution. There's such a gap there, and Wylder is that solution. It's the missing link. So I'm now going to talk for a little bit about how the app works. So there's two different types of challenges. You've got the daily challenge, which is something that anyone, like spotting tree canopies, can be done anywhere across the UK in any amount of time. So it could be someone who has 5 minutes on a lunch break, who can do it in like a workplace car park, or it could be someone who has longer and takes a 2-hour walk in the woods. Those guys can do the same thing and feel that sense of community. And then there's partner challenge packs there for people who want more. So for example, it could be a site-specific challenge like the one we've done here with the National Trust, which gives people 5 site-specific ways to connect to nature. Yeah, so there's 2 different options. Oh, Matt? Oh, no, pause.
Oh, pause.
Sorry, it looks a bit different. Right, yeah, I'm just going to run through the flow of the app so you can see how it works for a user. So for someone like Lucy, who's on that lunch break, how it works. So she'd open up the app, decide which challenge she wanted to do, and she'd look at the front of the card. Sorry. Yeah. Basically, she'd read that. If that's enough, she could just put her phone away and get outside and enjoy connecting to nature and have some screen-free time. But if she wants some more information, she can flip the card. And then, yeah, she'll find some more ideas. Essentially, it's this info is to inspire people and give them the confidence to know what kind of things to do when outside. So in this case, the different way that Flora might climb or twine. There's also always an extra challenge at the bottom of the card, so something to help you engage that a little bit further if you've got more time. And then, if she is still a little bit stuck and wants to see maybe what people are finding on her doorstep, she can check out the community feed. So each challenge card has a community feed underneath it. Yeah, seeing how other people interpret that same prompt is kind of one of the community's most loved features. That's what we often hear. And yeah, she can then enjoy her screen-free time in nature when she's plenty inspired. Before she's ready to capture that mindful moment via pressing go. She's busy enjoying nature. That's great. That's what we want. We want people off their phones. The idea is when ready, they do then capture that moment. The reason is to take that moment and inspire the community to do the same. To do that, so in this case, it's a photo of Ivy. Yeah, they can either import photos or use the in-app camera. And then they can add a description if they want. They don't have to. So it could be something just they want to share with the community, or maybe more as a journal. A lot of people like to use it to kind of have that ongoing record for themselves. So yeah, she adds the description, chooses her settings. You don't have to share it with the community. Most people do, because it tends to be a photo of nature, not themselves. So why not help others? 30 seconds, cool. And then they, yeah, upload it and share it with the community. So yeah, we'll fly on. 30 seconds to go. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, we're currently developing version 2 of the app with the community. We've done that throughout. Everything's been based on community decisions. 3 key features, and I'll just pick out 2. 1, connect to protect, where we increase the gamification. So for X number of challenges, that gets you, let's say, 10 virtual seeds. You swap for some kind of element to rewilding. And the second, nature alerts, tells you what's happening nearby and when. So for example, 7 o'clock tonight, clear sky, and it's going to be a full moon. Get outside. The key thing is that Wylder, we want to make it easy for people to connect to nature, so it's accessible for all. So that's our mission. That's it. Back to the ask. And yeah, just to reiterate, I'm very open to honest feedback. That's how Wylder's been built, so please don't hold back. I'd love to hear it. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Kate.
Cool.
So, have we got any questions?
Can we ask one, actually?
Okay.
Yeah, just obviously because I've heard the presentation earlier. And I was one thing I wanted to know was what's the sort of setup cost for a location? Because obviously you have to do a lot of work in the background to build up all the challenges.
Yeah, sure.
How does that work?
Should we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the moment, we've priced it around £3,000. We've given people like a nice chunk off because it's early stage. We're getting a lot of value from it too, from that feedback. Yeah, about £3,000. And yeah, there is a lot of setup. You've got to potentially do a site visit, depending on how well someone can prep you with that info. Various things to it, but the cool thing is as we scale, which we're already doing, get a nice chunk of whether it's mindfulness they want to focus on or conservation, education they want to focus on, etc. And then we can make them just customize the bits to their certain site. So at this site, you might notice this 400-year-old oak tree, but it can essentially be the same content. So soon it should be a lot more scalable once we've got like 5 core ones at the moment. But yeah, that's kind of my background being a teacher. So we get that together. Yeah, cool.
Cool. We've got one on Menti. So since you've launched, have you found users repeatedly use the app?
Yeah, I think I haven't got the stats right now off the top of my head. Obviously, like any app, the turnover's there. We need version 2. We need to make it stickier. I think that gamification in the right way, in the Wylder way, with the seeds of trees, whatever it is, will help. But yeah, many people, so they get badges. People have, will come to me and say, I've got 250 badge. I'm like, really? And obviously I should be using my app. This is probably the bad thing to admit, advocate every day. But I kind of always say at that point when I am, then I've now done it right. Version 1 hasn't got those extra sticky bits. Do that, but to hear there are people out there regularly, I hear people, sorry, I can't remember who asked the question, but yeah, people, I don't even know who I was up there. Yeah, people do. And it's amazing. People will sit there in the evening and say they're giving out gratitude seeds and things like that. So yeah, it's amazing.
Cool. We'll take one more from Menti. So
okay, cool.
Could you use it for events like festivals or carnivals?
Yeah, that's a cool idea. You definitely could. We did trial it at an event. I found that we need to push it more. So people are very busy, as you guys probably know, at the event, and your mind's very sort of single track. So I think the messaging of that needs to be prompted and pushed throughout the day to draw people's attention to it. But yeah, especially let's say a festival where people are there for that kind of thing. As long as people have that prompt throughout the day, yeah, it's a cool idea. Whoever that was, thank you.
Cool. We've got time for probably one more from the room.
Cool. Hi.
So you got the share option.
Yep.
Is there potential for it to be into social media? Share that.
Yeah, with the community to bring more people in. It is possible. There is a button. I don't know how many people do it. Needs to be made clearer. But yeah, it's a great shout for people then to just help us to grow the network by sort of being advocates for it. Yeah, great shout. Thank you.
Cool. Let's just go for one more then, just because it's the Slush'd organizer.
Yeah, we'll let her.
I just wondered,
Go on.
with the, probably a bit wild, but with the data
Like it.
you're generating with the imagery,
Yeah.
can that be used for other things? And the
Yeah.
example I think of is capture. Like 20 years ago, we used to find capture forms really annoying, but actually we were digitizing plain text from transcripts. Is there anything else that we can use to, like with the imagery, is it useful anywhere else?
The photos that people
Yeah.
are I think citizen science is an initial obvious one. So if you're saying, I don't know, take a photo of those tree canopies and you get photos of trees across the whole country, are they in leaf or are they not? That kind of stuff's really interesting. Or on a site-specific challenge that, it's interesting to different parties, whether that's planners or people for footfall around sites or conservation. That's kind of where my head's at on it. Did you have any other thoughts of applications or in a similar?
So you had the Merlin app
Yeah.
before, and actually we're finding, the Cornish chough is really rare, but actually every time there's a chough, I'm like, yeah, Merlin.
Yeah.
They know the choughs are all right.
Yeah, I love that.
What else is the data really
Yeah.
useful that actually could be another revenue stream?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's useful. Thank you. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Big round of applause, Jane. Right, our next demo. And we're keeping all of these, and we're going to publish them afterwards so you can check back and see. But as a quick sense check, Kate, might want to look at that.
Who's going to invest?
We need some more investors in the room, clearly.
I'll take the one. We're all broke founders.
Right, our next demo is Simon from Kaeco. Probably butchered that.
That's good.
Big round of applause.
Do I need a clicker?
You do.
I do. Yes, to some of you, a lot of this information will be quite familiar. I've long ago stopped using technology in a live sense because it just feels unreliable. So some of the stuff used before. Are we good? Good to go? Cool. Okay. 6:30 after a long day in event. Who's up for some crowd participation? Of course you are. Of course you are. Don't worry. You know what you need to do. Just simply follow my lead. 3, 2, 1. Knock knock.
Who's there?
AI.
AI who?
Hey, I don't know. I haven't got a sense of self. That's kind of the problem. Because while generative AI tools like ChatGPT have made it possible for small companies everywhere to create marketing content at scale, what they struggle to do is to add a little bit of personality. And that's where we come in. At Kaeco, we are combining the pace of AI with the personality of you and I to make AI-generated content more funny, more fierce, and more effective, also that SMEs can create charismatic marketing content in as quick as a few clicks. Would you like to see how it works? Of course you would. It's a demo now. I'll show you. I'll give you some examples. We gave Kaico the same control test. Oh, they were going to pop up all at once. Okay. There's no reveal, sorry. We gave Kaico the same control test every single time and asked it to create content in the format of very different companies with very, very different brands. So we asked it if these three different companies, which will be revealed in a minute, had created the iPhone 15, how would they promote it on social media to announce their iPhone list? And like I say, you can see all three at once, so I'll go through them one by one. So the first example we gave it was Patagonia. Patagonia released the iPhone 15, what would it say? Reborn from yesterday's resources, blazing a trail for tomorrow's Earth. Please don't read ahead, I will reveal it. It's okay, eco-conscious. But what about a more sensual brand, a more seductive brand? A brand like Dior, for example. Now with 48 megapixel camera transforming the mundane into masterpieces of light and shadow. But what about somebody completely different? A brand that's edgy, that's funny, that's a bit raw. A brand like Brewdog, for example. How would they release the iPhone 15? If I wanted something that folds, I'd avoid a map. Hashtag sorry, not Samsung. Our customers can sign up to it. Oh, yes. Now imagine that your company could create content as powerful as that, as quickly as that, but now talking about your product, your service. Well, now you can. Simply come to Kaico AI, define the type of content you want to be able to create and the platform it's going to be posted on. Tell us a little bit about your company, the campaign you want to run, the specific key message you want to communicate. And then, and this is the secret sauce, this is the unfair advantage, select one of the 16 predefined market types that we have in the backdrop. The market types define the tone of voice, the visual identity, and the focus of the content that you have. You can sign up to one of 3 different packages for the free, the premium, or the enterprise, depending on your particular needs and wants. So that's the product, but what about the team behind it? So Kaico was started by myself, I'm Simon Vincent, CEO, and my co-founder, Nick Dupree's our CTO. We are supported by Stuart Harrison, who is a hugely experienced tech founder and entrepreneur, and Dr. Leah Trading, who's helped us with the psychology aspects of the model in the background. We launched our MVP at the Cornwall Festival of Tech in February, and since then we've been working with our clients to finesse the product, and we should be able to put a live full version out in the coming weeks, I expect. Once we do that, we will be starting the first of 2 races that we're hoping to do over the coming 3 years. All of them both aimed at extending the amount of functionality of the product, but also helping us to improve our IP. This is the development of the owned large language model.
30 seconds.
The total addressable market for this is huge, but we anticipate that with this round, we should be able to reach circa 15,000 users, by which point this particular version of Kaico should be reaching profitability, and investors should be starting to make a return. So, if any of you are an investor who has scaled tech companies, who has connections to companies like marketing agencies who might use our products, or who simply thinks great marketing, say hello. Sorry.
Thank you, really good. I'll pass it back.
Okay.
If we just check what we've got. Mentee, which doesn't
Yes,
put them in
you
order.
could use it for festivals.
There you go. This is one for you. Is there a risk that AI-generated content might get penalised by the algorithms? The
algorithms on social media, I'm assuming is the question there. Yes, because there is a risk with AI in general. We've already seen the way that kind of Google has reacted to it, and the SEO, search engines and stuff have reacted to it. What's interesting about, there is an awful lot out there about this idea of, is it obviously created by AI? And I think the vast majority of stuff that you get created by AI does sound like it's generated by AI, but then that is exactly what we are here to fight against. Essentially, that's what our product does, and we actually run our stuff, the content that we create all the time through these tools that claim to be able to tell whether you've created it by AI, and we pretty much pass the human test all the time. So I think we'd be lying if we said that there wasn't a possibility that would be the case. But I think if you're going to create AI-generated content and hope that it doesn't get picked up by the algorithms, I think this is the way to be able to do it.
Cool. We got any more questions from the room? There? Might need a microphone, unless you want to shout.
I can shout, yeah. Have you got users at the minute, and how are they responding to, what's their feedback about it?
Yeah, we have free users at the moment. We don't have paid users. It's not available to pay for as yet. That will be in the full version that we release in a couple of weeks. We do have them, and we are working with them. So their feedback tends to be around the specific outputs and specific tones of it. Like I say, for the moment, they're only able to create social media content. So the big jump for us will be when we launch the full version and people have the ability to create blog content in the same tone of voice or emails. Like I say, we haven't yet got feedback on that because it doesn't exist yet. But yeah, their feedback tends to be around the specifics of the market types. How funny are the funny ones? How clever are the clever ones? And actually, at this point, that is all very welcome. I'm encouraging people to give me that feedback because it is good to be able to see how we can tweak the prompts and make them better.
Good. We got one on up here. How do you protect your IP?
So this is a really good question. So at the moment, so obviously from an IP, from a technical legal perspective, the IP is all wrapped up in the technology, the AI side of what we do. And at the moment, we are effectively using ChatGPT in the background, so we don't have any IP over that. Like I say, when we talk about developing our own large language model, that will be where we start to develop our own IP. Informally, I often think of market types as being our intellectual property. It's not. I've spoken to IP lawyers and stuff, and they say I can't trademark it. So okay, whatever. But that is the bit that I think is protectable about Kaeco. It's the bit that people don't necessarily have access to unless they can get into my head fundamentally. And I think that is therefore protectable, even if it's not in a legal sense.
Yeah, we had a question over there.
Can you kind of tailor the tone of the content by the social network that it's intended for? Like you might want a different tone on Facebook than you do TikTok or whatever.
Yes is the answer. So at that first stage where you select Twitter or LinkedIn, you can select that, and then you can tweak all of the information later on. I think the one thing I would say is that, and one of the beauties of the product is you're able to experiment. So you can try different tones of voices on the same platform or switch them up on different platforms and all of those sorts of things, and that might be relevant. In the fullness of time for users who use it time and time again, what I would recommend, purely as a marketing consultant, is that the consistency of voice is important. Nike sound like Nike, whether you're watching them on TikTok or LinkedIn or whatever. So in the fullness of time, what I would recommend is you pick one and you stick to it. But yes, in the interim, and again, most companies, I worked with the VATSA for a few years, they don't know what their tone of voice is, or they didn't start working with them. And so in the interim, it's perfectly possible to play, try different things, see what works, and then adopt the one you want.
Brilliant. Big round of applause. Right. How's everyone feeling? It's been a long day. Everyone's still in the room with us? Everyone ready for bed? Ready for the pub with me? Right, we have got our next demo. Just see now. Oh, it just changed real time. Like it. So our next demo is from Raven at Blue Fruit Labs.
Yep.
Should we run through? We'll do the
Do the slides first, and then we'll work out the complicated bit afterwards.
Hello. Okay, so we are Blue Fruit Labs. We are a spin out from Blue Fruit Software. We have done a incubator model, so we are developing products. So we're looking for feedback on our idea, the execution of our idea, our messaging. That's an important one. Sometimes I found on the phone trying to explain to people what the product is, but they don't always understand what I'm trying to sell them. And then when I show them the product, they understand fully. So messaging is key. And then any commercial pitfalls we may meet. This is for people who spend too much time on finance admin tasks. Any time is too much time, if you ask me. So step in PixieBooks. Doesn't look like the animations are working, but that's okay. So PixieBooks is an add-on to Xero. So in a manual process, you might purchase something, you get your receipt, and you'll scan it in. The next part is the time-consuming bit. This is the bookkeeping part. So in Xero, you go in, you add all the details, you categorize it, you fill in the memo. Does it have VAT on it? All that sort of stuff. And it goes to your accountant for review. If you're a little bit geeky, you might have some software that helps with this. So stuff like Dex or HubDoc. So this is quite interesting software. The issue with it is you have to do a lot of work up front. So, if you've got a Tesco receipt, then it will categorize the future Tesco receipts. So there's ongoing work with that one, even though it does help with the automation. Then you've got PixieBooks. So PixieBooks are the same. The main difference is that it does all of the middle bit for you. So it uses AI to categorize and interpret the receipt. So onto the demo. We're going to try a live demo, which is brave or...
It always works.
Brave.
It live, doesn't it?
At least you're on a laptop rather than a cabinet.
Yes.
Cabinet on wheels.
On wheels.
The laptop's not even working. There we go.
So anybody who's familiar with Xero will recognize this screen. This is where we add our receipts to, and then we fill out our bills. So what we're going to do here is my assistant here.
Glamorous assistant.
Glamorous assistant. Sorry, Ali. We've got a phone, and on there we've got WhatsApp. We don't have our own app yet. Everybody's got WhatsApp, and what we're going to do is we're taking a picture of a receipt. This is a Tesco receipt. On there, you'll notice I've written marketing expense on the top. That's to tell the AI that it's a marketing expense. And we've also written Xero rated VAT. And that's to tell it to not claim the VAT when it goes into Xero. So this process takes about a minute. So WhatsApp sends it on to Xero. Once it hits Xero, our app then does the AI processing. Once that's done, it will then send us a response. You can see above the responses come in. It's saying who the receipt is for, and it gives the details that it's categorized it by. Soon we'll have a button on there that allows you to prove it within WhatsApp. And the goal there is to make sure that we're keeping people out of Xero and everything's done within WhatsApp. So usually this is done by now. Oh, it's done. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is swap out of WhatsApp back onto Xero. We just refresh the page. Then inside the awaiting approval tab, we will have a receipt. And if we open that up, you can see that the AI has categorized it as a marketing expense. The account code is advertising and marketing, and the tax rate is Xero rated expenses. So
30 seconds, guys.
That's the demo. That's it. It's done. Yeah.
Excellent.
That was exciting. I'm sorry. It's somebody other one.
Have we got any questions from you? Who's big on their zero? Let's go here first.
I don't use zero, but the last bit, like the magic there.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite understand how that happened.
AI.
Yeah. Does that mean you don't understand it either?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So
Yeah, there's a bit we've skipped at the start, which is that you have to connect your Zero account to our app, and then whenever a new bill is created in Zero, which is what happened when we sent it in via WhatsApp, the app then runs, and then it does all the categorization and enters it into Zero for you.
Cool.
Out of curiosity, when you're doing, what's happening is that when you collect it with the AI, are you using a vision NLP type system, natural language processing system? How's it recognizing? Because I noticed you wrote zero, zero tax, whatever.
Yeah.
Because that, and you use that specific wording, which is appropriate in Zero.
Mm-hmm.
What would it? How could it have determined it without you manually putting it in?
Well, so it will just take it off the receipt. So if the receipt says 20% VAT, which this one does, then it will put in the 20% VAT for you.
Okay, and that's doing it because of the NLP system, or what's the AI magic?
What's the AI magic? The AI magic is it interprets the receipt, and then it will take the data from the receipt, interpret whether you should claim the VAT or not, or what the VAT code is. So there's more than 2 VAT codes. There's several. So
It's a large language model using that.
No, I was wondering what you're using.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just GPT-4. It's the Omni model, so the multimodal version.
Cool. Let's go for a question from the audience.
Have you used Expensify?
Yes, I have. Yes.
So isn't it pretty similar to Expensify in that categorizes and it's starting to use a bit of that?
Yeah, so I've used Expensify. I still need to go in and do a lot of the categorizations myself with Expensify, which is similar to a lot of the other software that's on the market at the moment. So the key really is that the AI makes it dynamic. So it doesn't have to have seen it before. It will make an interpretation.
Cool. Question on Menti. Why haven't Zero done this? Or I guess the risk is Zero might do this.
Well, yeah, they will. Well, I hope so. But I don't think they're going to do it yet. Zero are very slow at releasing any new features. So, for example, open banking came out 7 years ago or something, and they're only just releasing an open banking connection to make payments from Zero. So Zero are very slow at doing things. So hopefully they'll buy us.
Any more questions up there?
So yeah, I like how it looks. So having to write on it, a little bit of extra effort. Is there any way to, let's say you don't write on it and it gets scanned and there's a bit of a query? Is there any sort of interaction on WhatsApp, for example, where if it needs to be pointed in a certain direction to classify it correctly? Is there anything like that, or would that be useful to sort of have to skip the writing?
Yeah. So we've been asked that a couple of times today while on the stand. We've got a prototype where you can, as part of the message going in, it's not actually part of a prototype, but it's something we can do that we've been working with. You can put the message with the image when you send it in, and then that will, when it's all set up and working, then that would be a replacement for writing on the receipt.
And you don't necessarily have to write on the
No,
receipt.
you don't have to write on the receipt. If you don't, it will just do the interpretation. Yeah.
Any more questions? I've got one more question. One more question from the room. Let's go. Oh, it's hard to choose. Let's go with over there.
Is that any element of learning? So if you have a certain bills which are the queuing in the business and they're supposed to go to a certain nominal code, would it be able to learn so you don't actually have to classify?
So right now it doesn't, but that is something we're intending to add into it.
I think we're at time. Big round of applause, everyone. If you've got any questions that weren't answered, then do ask them afterwards. So it's time for our final demo. I've just clicked the wrong way, which doesn't help. So our final demo is time for Jeff from Time for Good. Big round of applause.
Thanks.
Am I right to plug my laptop in after doing these slides?
Yeah, sure.
Hello. So I guess a lot of you have already seen Time for Good. I'm going to paint you a picture with words a little bit because these are quite minimal, if I'm honest. So Time for Good is a micro-volunteering platform where people micro-volunteer for charities, causes, and each other. We are launching on the 1st of October with our partners, Citizens Advice Plymouth, and lots of other charities, hopefully. Not hopefully, we are launching with lots of other charities. So I could go on and I could design a poster for Citizens Advice. They would then send me a thank you, assuming they're happy with me and I've done a good job. We collect thank yous instead of likes, like on Facebook or whatever you collect likes, we collect thank yous. Those thank yous would go onto my profile with a little write-up next to them as like a social CV. I'd also receive KN, which is our kindness points. So that we've borrowed that from Duolingo and other sort of gamification style apps. And they would count towards rewards. So businesses can get involved, but not by paying for advertising, because we're not Facebook again. They can get involved by providing rewards for the local volunteers. So it's like a really nice, inclusive volunteering movement that we're trying to create. So it's not just charities and causes, though. It's person to person as well. So I look after my mum. Actually, I'm going to use Rob's mum. That's right, as a example. Rob's mum lives 200 miles away, and not just recently she logged herself out of Netflix, and she was asking Rob if he could come up and change her password and get her back in again. And obviously that's not that convenient. So what would be great is if Rob could set up a circle for the area where his mum lives, and he could put on a request, or she could put on a request, and someone help me out. Netflix boggles my mind. And in return, she could, she sort of asks something from the community, which we want to encourage, because asking is a kindness too. She could offer some gardening help or some baking help for her community. Oh, I don't know what my next slide is. No, sorry. All right, yeah. So the problem is that people, busy people like us, we don't have time to volunteer that much.
Jeff, you've got 2 minutes. I'm just conscious if you want to use the laptop as well.
Yeah, okay. We don't have time, but now we can volunteer because we've got Time for Good. And me and Rob are the founders. All right, laptop time. Try again.
There you go.
No.
It's probably gone extended display as well.
I don't know. I can continue painting with words if you like.
You do some painting.
All right.
I'll do some.
Yeah, so students are one of our target audiences, because we want to attract a younger audience, because volunteering tends to skew older. So we want to be attractive to a younger audience. So we're doing that through branding and social CVs and things. So these are the circles that we've got set up. We've got Citizens Advice Plymouth, Woodchester. I think that's your mum's area, isn't it, Rob? Yeah. So Citizens Advice Plymouth. These are some of the requests that they need. Photographers, translators, and they'll need people to check the translation. So there's that's another thing that they'll be adding. So I could go on here
and let's say I can translate this into Spanish. I
Got a few
speak.
seconds left, buddy.
Yeah, okay, that's my note. So Citizens Advice will get a notification to say Rob wants to do this. They can accept. When you say a few seconds.
Give you a chance just to get this done.
Thank you. So Citizens Advice can go in. Oh, Rob wants to Rob wants to do translations. I'll accept that. Cool. He's done the work. Let's give him. It took him 2 hours, and we'll send a thank you. Cheers. Cheers. Yeah, I am Cornish. So there you go. And then that will appear. That will appear on Rob's profile. There you go. How polished was that? Right. Any questions? Yeah.
You've just given Rob 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or you've said it took him 2 hours to do the thing.
Yeah.
Is the system open to abuse? Like, is there a reason?
My question, Simon.
Oh.
At the same time.
It could be if you had a different ending to the question, but yeah, is there anything to stop, Rob earning, 100 hours and you doing nothing and you just putting stuff on there?
Yeah. So a couple of things. We want to attract the right people in the first place. So when you sign up, people are going to take a pledge. So you pledge to be spread kindness like confetti, something with smiles, and be nice in pixels and in person. So there's some kind of behavioral science going on in that, because if people have said they are like something, they're likely to live up to that. And they'll be reminded of this pledge at certain key points in the process of the exchange. Now, you could, there's not much to stop me just doing this exchange 100 times and getting loads of thank yous and loads of kindness points. However, there will be things that we can do in future, like we're just going into MVP at the moment, but in future we're talking to Hertzian AI guys, and their system that they can plug in will monitor, well, a couple of things, but to this point, any unusual kind of patterns, a bit like betting, I suppose. If there's been loads of bets on a thing, it gets flagged, doesn't it? So that's one thing. And another thing that's sort of tangential is that it will measure sentiment. So there's chat rooms for each circle, optional chat rooms, and it can measure whether the discourse in that chat room will or is sort of declining a little, and it will go, remember, you've pledged to be nice. And if someone says something horrible, then it will suspend them, kind of thing. So once we get loads of money, we'll do these things.
We've got a good question on Menti. How do you manage safeguarding risks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when someone joins a circle, say Citizens Advice, like this was one of their concerns as well. People agree to rules. So Citizens Advice will set rules for the circle, and people will agree to them. You can set a circle to join, like be open, anyone can join it, or ask to join. So Citizens Advice will say, oh, they'll get a notification saying Jane wants to join the circle. They can check Jane's profile, make sure that she's legit. You know, if she hasn't got much of a profile or something seems a bit off about it, they could say, you know, what have you done in the past? So they can not sort of vet people before they go into the circle. And also if anything, you know, if bad starts happening, they can be booted out. And I was going to say something else. I can't remember.
We've got
trust. Thank you.
Time
Yeah.
for one more, Nick, is there?
Yeah, we should be okay for one more, definitely.
Okay. Could you use volunteers to help build?
Yeah. Yeah, and eating their own dog food, etc. and overcome challenges. Okay. Yeah, so we are helping. We are recruiting T4G volunteers. So we need. We're going to ask for students to help us with social media. We're going to ask for students to help us collect thank yous on the street in Plymouth as a sort of a nice PR event. We're going to create a wall of kindness. So we're going to find a venue with a wall like this and fill it with bricks of thank yous that people have collected on the street. And we need students to help volunteer with that. We want to create a circle with T4G buddies, we're calling them, where people can help each other if if they're technically challenged. And it's kind of a little bit like gift gaff, if they kind of get the community to help.
We're done. Thank you very much.
We've got our strict final minutes, I'm afraid, but non-negotiable. So that was all of our demos for the night. Thank you everyone for joining in on the Menzies. There's really good questions. We've got the results in. We don't normally make it that competitive, but here's our favourite demos of the night. And I'm final to say thank you for joining us, taking this extra hour out of your time. It's really valuable for startups. The number one reason startups do not succeed is because of no market need. So all of these opportunities to get feedback from the community are really useful, and genuinely some brilliant suggestions come out from kind of demo nights like this. We've got our next demo night in October at Bayes Business School, which is in London, but you can join remotely. We live stream all of them. And there's a few more slides on this Menti for some questions about how you found demo night, would you recommend it to a friend, those kind of things. Just hand over to Nick to wrap up.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you everyone. Thank you anyone who's delayed their trip to the pub to actually be here. Really appreciate that. And I'd just like to say thank you, Nikki, and all the team at Slush'd for giving us the opportunity to be part of this. It's amazing, and I hope this is the first of many. Thank you, everyone.
And if I could just say thank you also to Cornwall Trade and Investment, who sponsored this session. So the team were in the room today, and we love the fact there's an international connection. I love the fact there's connection with the Canopy team in Lisbon, and if anyone knows, there's a flight network between Newquay and Faro in Portugal, and so I feel like we're building bridges between that international community. So massive thanks to them as well, and well done everyone. I know you're exhausted and you've come back and pitch tonight, so well done, big thank you, and thanks to Nick and Matt.
Thank you.
Oh, something like